Hi again in part 2 of chapter 2. Um, we are starting the first learning objective and we'll progress on this first learning objective first. Um, so, what are the fundamental questions that economics is trying to answer? So, if you think of the way that we defined economics, um, the questions might be quite different if you are referring to a producer or a consumer or decisions which each of the producer and consumers are doing within the action of the trade in the market, or the decisions which the governments is doing within um, policy making or things like that. However, they may look different on the surface, but the fundamental concern is there must be a choice to be made in a world of scarcity. So, be it at individual level, be it at country level, be it at a group of people, collective units of individuals, be it in family or in people are must make choices because they are facing in that moment of problem scarce resources. So individuals' choices determine three features of society, and these three features or three fundamental questions I said is if I want to use the highlighter, the what question. So what gets produced, and how question, and who question, or I said it alternatively, for whom question, for whom question. So the what question is that we are asking that what society needs to produce or what gets produced. The how question is referred that what type of mixture of or the what with which know-how, which know-how or know what, which knowledge we shall implement. This is called technology, and this is called the science. So how we are going to make this possible to produce? So we have to find a way, a process. For example, if we have so many people, so we will go to use more people rather than using machines. If you have highly educated people but only few, and you have you want to basically produce, you may basically go for capital intensive technology with automation, with because you have few labor, no matter how much they are capable, you have to basically develop a capital intensive technology. So depending on the labor and capital you have, the endowments or resource endowments, how much we have, which and the land or resources, how bounty, how available they are in our society. Then we will decide that which technology or how we do it. Shall we emphasize on our labor intensive technology, that everything is because we have plenty of them like China and India, or we should go for capital intensive, or if we have too much oil, of course we better specialize in the thing which we have plenty of it, and go with other countries with to specialize in something. So which way we should be specialized, how we shall do it, that is the how question. And who gets it? It means that how we are going to distribution. For whom we are doing this. And these two questions are interrelated, and basically these are the definitions of some economic terminologies: inputs and outputs on the other side. Inputs or resources which are scarce, so we are giving a definition for them, or factors of production, we called it land, labor, capital. And capital has been defined here: things that are produced and then used in the production, so it's machines and equipments. Okay, and the production is a process of transforming scarce resources into goods and services, and the outputs are going to be goods and services which values to the householders who are the consumers. Then not all the concepts we discussed it is presented here, but these are some of the key definitions you need to understand those fundamental questions. And remember that we also draw a flow diagram to see that we have scarce natural resources or factors of production, okay, and capitals, machines and equipments we are using, sun or the Galatia, the mountains, the trees, forests or fisheries. These are what is belong to our country, and these are basically refers that it's going to question is that what gets produced. If we have these resources, what should we do? What to produce? Of course, if we have more oil, we are going to be specialized in becoming oil producers like Oman, like Iran, like Saudi Arabia. But if you have fewer oil, not that you don't have at all, but you have fewer oil reserves, then you will go for manufacturing productions like Japan or like China. Or if you are basically service-driven economy, focusing on Silicon Valley type of technology, then like United States, you become service producers, like banking, like shipment, insurance, things like that. And the second question, how, is basically, if you remember, I can show you that how I drew it in this is the way that I explained it. We have limited resources, remember, land, labor, capital, and we have producers, we have consumers, and we get our happiness at the end. And we have markets in between. So it's a linear flow. This is called linear flow, flow of economy from the resources to the welfare or to the happiness of the society or to the development of economy. So let me come back to my new chapter slide. This is graphically much better, but also it relates to the fundamental question. So what type of technology we shall use, so how we are going to mix these resources to basically provide goods and services for our ultimate users, the families, the consumers. And so that is basically for whom questions, for whom is going to be answered. So here we have unlimited wants, okay, which is they are gonna be fulfilling their wants or happiness, okay, happiness or welfare, welfare. So this trio question are always in economics, and this should be answered in one way or another. How good we are answering it, it depends on how optimal allocation of resources we make. We should use the resources to get the best out of it. We cannot ask, let's say, a teacher go and do manufacturing, and a football player to come and basically do fishery, because each one is doing things in a different way. A teacher who is going to play soccer, or a soccer player is coming to teach economics to you, that the results are going to be horrible. Of course, we're not going to get the best out of it. So we should go who is basically more productive, okay, and then hire them, a teacher into the schooling or education sector, and a soccer player in for the sports. If the service of the soccer player is also another production made by the society. Okay, so it's actually a very complex problems to be solved. What questions, how questions, and for whom questions. So every society has a system or process that transforms its scarce resources into useful goods and services. And in doing so, it must decide what gets produced, how it's produced, and for whom to be produced. So the primary resources that must be allocated and are land, labor, and capital, or land is also called natural resources, as we mentioned it in the previous lecture. So how we are going to allocate them to get the optimal solution. So economics is about finding an optimal solution. If you find the optimal solution, then we say the economy is efficient. Efficiency. So how we can basically reflect these questions and how the choices are made. So efficient solution is that we are using our resources to the most productive manner, and it means that they are going to be least opportunity cost. So for getting the happiness, we will use the least opportunity cost factors of production. So the reason that we are specializing, Oman is specialized in oil, because oil, as compared to other resources we have, it appears to be the least opportunity cost, or we are most productive in that. So we look at our endowments and we are trying to basically answers our questions in one way or another. So this is, if you want to put all the concepts in one, so all in one thing is, we want to discuss the scarcity and the choices. Okay, what I wanted to say is that there is an issue here. We want to develop an analytical tool that explains to us the scarcity, explains the choice, explains the trade-off, and explains the marginalism or relativity, and the efficiency. I told you already, this is the PPF which we are going to be building, but there is a limit to this method, use of graphs. And what was the limits of the use of the graph? The use of the graph is that it is two-dimensional. Two-dimensional. Two-dimensional means that we have x variable and y variable. So it's no problem. We are dealing with this all the time, and scientists are doing it. In the previous chapter I said we have x, y, z, w, s, t, so many variables. So the reason that we are using the visualization with 2 is that we are assuming that everything else remains the same. So this was called ceteris paribus. So we assume that you can say that all the other things, the decisions are made. So they are all other things are given or are fixed. And we are trying to see what would be the combination of x and y, which based on the scarcity we can make or we cannot. Okay, so here we have a mix of point A is xa and yb. So the Cartesian system says that point A is here. So this is corresponding to x of A and y of A. And then we have point B, which is xb and yb. So we can show it like here. This is point B. This corresponds to yb, and this corresponds to xb. So in this way, we are basically that limitations of the visualization is, of course, the society have so many people and so many resources and so many outputs of goods and services. So these are inputs. that the things that we can do is that to limit. In terms of people, we can go for 1%, 2%, or more. Actually, 2 and more, we are gonna be basically not doing it. In fact, from page 51 in the syllabus I have said to page 55, which it is talking about the scarcity and choice in an economy of 2 or more is being cancelled. So I'm not gonna explain that, but it is assuming that, let's say, 2 countries or 2 individuals are trying to basically how they can deal with each other, and is it going to be beneficial if they go with the trade. And this is basically focusing on Adam Smith and David Ricardo, absolute or comparative advantage theories. Okay, so in microeconomics, so if you want to do that, go to microeconomics. That is going to be taught. But in macroeconomics, we just basically put it in a bracket, and for motivated student, they can read it by themselves. But it's not going to be discussed. So we're only focusing on 1%. How this trio questions of what, how, for whom is going to be answered by one country, one person. So we call it one entity. We call it one entity economy, okay? So that the how those decisions are made by one individual family, by one individual firm, by one country, by one sector, things like that. So a person must decide what to produce and how to produce and when to produce it, okay, something like that. And basically, what would be the opportunity cost for that one entity, for the mix of combination which they face, him or she or the country, what would be, how we can basically calculate the opportunity cost in marginal level, in relative situation. So the concept of opportunity cost, we are going to represent it visually, okay? Let's remind that opportunity cost, the concept, constraint, choice, and scarcity are central into the discipline of the economics, and it was defined in the first chapter, the best alternative that we give up or we forego when we are making a choice. So if you have several choices, you have option A, B, C, D, okay? And now you're basically a multiple choice questions in the exam. You have to make a choice. You cannot basically choose all of them. So the moment you choose one, the cost of choosing this is the best which you forego. So if this is your right answer and they are all wrong answer, you paid no cost. Basically, it is your all benefit. But if the right answer is this one, so the cost of answering, making this choice is losing your mark is going to be the highest. Of course, the other two does not have so the opportunity cost is the best value or the best benefit which you could have gained if you made the alternative choice, okay? So of course the person who is doing the best choice or most efficient choice is the one who is making the right answer in multiple choice questions. So that is we defined it, and in the other class we gave more examples. But here, with the help of production possibility frontier, we try to basically visualize it, and then you can benefit it the most. Okay, so let me start the next video from or part 3 explaining the production possibility frontier. Thank you.